name's Alex Ross Perry, and I've written and directed 4 independent movies, and now I'm in a process of writing for movies and for television and making subsequent independent movies of my own. I kind of came to being in the field, through a fairly traditional path. I went to NYU Film School, and I graduated in 2006, and in those years in the middle, before shooting my first movie, which I did in 2008, I was working in a video store with a guy by the name of Sean Williams, who talked about shooting movies and was involved with production in a way that I never really knew what he was talking about. And then in 2007, a movie he'd been shooting for a long time called Frownland was completed, and I went to see it. And it was a pretty shocking revelation to see what this guy who I'd known for several years was capable of behind a camera. And that was certainly a fairly substantial influence in encouraging me to want to make a small movie of my own and leave my job and look around and realize that I had a lot of people around me, not just Sean, but people who I thought would be good in front of the camera, whose skills I wanted to utilize in this movie. And we made that movie in 2008, and it was at a few festivals in 2009. And traveling to these festivals, I met other filmmakers and was able to kind of develop collaborative relationships with them that resulted in making another movie in 2010. And then from there, it's just kind of been cumulative. There's this sort of streamlined specificity, at least on these smaller movies, where the whole idea of what people are doing is coming together to service something that, one person has to believe in. Because on a small movie, it's not going to get done unless somebody really believes in it. And no one's making small movies for money. So, usually that's what motivates people to really care about the end result. But on these smaller things, the only thing that can really motivate people is just someone really feeling committed to making sure that this happens and that it gets finished. And being, writing, directing, and then producing the movies, that just becomes, my best asset, is that nobody cares more than me, and that I'm kind of the only person who's working on it 2 years ago, and I'm the only person who's going to be working on it a year from now. Everyone else just comes in for a little bit. So, it makes me feel very involved with it, and it motivates me to make sure that I see everything through to its maximum potential. Things change quite a bit on set. I've never really had that much in my head during writing. A few things occasionally are clearly this sequence where this sort of thing is going to happen, but the relationship with my cinematographer, who shot all 4 of my movies, he has a lot of background in documentary shooting and documentary production, and I like using that. I think that's a good tool to have at my disposal for making things that feel alive in a sort of non-premeditated way. So the script is what it is, and I think as the movies get bigger, the scripts are useful to giving a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people a really clear idea of what kind of movie we're making. But then once we get on set, the idea that everything would have been predetermined makes me wonder what we would be doing there. Whereas, the way it works on set now is that that's like where all the ideas come from. The script is just my ideas, but now it's time for cinematographer's ideas and actors' ideas and everyone's ideas. So, you can make a movie with one person's ideas or a movie with a lot of people's ideas. Just committing to finishing everything. The only people I've known from film school onward who don't really do stuff are people who were unable to finish things. And everyone I know who's grown and built a career and an exciting kind of path for themselves got there by just forging ahead. And even if something isn't perfect and it's not exactly what you wanted, the benefit of finishing it and moving on is so much better than the experience of giving up and starting over. And I found that that's incredibly, a really clear difference between people I know who've put themselves in a position that seems successful or enviable, and people I know who I don't know what happened to them. Because everyone I know who's moving forward is finishing stuff constantly, even if it's just finishing a script that can't get made or doesn't get made for years. Not giving up on it is clearly an incredibly crucial thing to be doing.